Welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Glad that you could join us for another segment. In this segment, we're going to be speaking with Sloane Phillips. Joining us here is VP of Clinical Operations at Iterative Scopes to discuss the advancements of AI precision medicine in the gastroenterology field and the importance of early and accurate preventative care. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Sloane. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Great to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Well, as VP of Clinical Operations there at Iterative Scopes, give us a bit of insight into your area of expertise. What's your story? What led you to Iterative Scopes?
Happy to. My background is in public health, and what attracted me to work at Iterative Scopes is the goal to broaden access to the highest standard of care. You see across the U.S. a 20-year difference in life expectancy depending on location. There are many contributors to this, of course, but access to healthcare is undeniably a factor. And at Iterative Scopes, we're using scalable technology to eliminate disparities in healthcare outcomes.
What are some of the current initiatives that Iterative Scopes is working on?
We're really excited about the chance to lead the charge in pioneering development of AI-driven computational tools in gastroenterology. Gastroenterology is, of course, a very important field. Everybody is expected to receive colonoscopy procedures throughout their life, beginning at age 40 or 45. And it's a field that hasn't benefited from advanced precision medicine technologies yet.
Why hasn't it taken advantage of those advancements until now?
It's less about the field not taking advantage of advancements and more about those advancements not being brought to the field. We have had the chance to hear over and over again about the enthusiasm and excitement for this advancement as it's made available to providers.
It's my understanding that Iterative Scopes is increasing the accuracy of colonoscopies with computer-aided detection tool, a new one. Give us some insight into the Scout tool.
Yes, very excited to talk about Scout. Scout uses computer vision to recognize suspicious tissue and provide real-time feedback to gastroenterologists, thereby drawing their attention to potential areas of interest. We were able to develop this tool over the last several years, and ultimately we're able to take it through a clinical trial, one of the largest clinical trials of a tool of its kind in the United States, and recently received FDA clearance. The idea is to enable early detection of the key features that contribute to colorectal cancer, and it's known that there's variability in how those features are being detected by providers currently.
What are some of the variables? It's my understanding that polyps is usually what we're looking for in a colonoscopy. How does the detection vary and why?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It is polyps, and there are a variety of polyp types. The most important polyp type is classified as an adenoma, and because colonoscopies are highly operator dependent, we're seeing in the literature that endoscopists can miss up to 26% of adenomas during procedures, and we're really excited about the ability to improve the detection of these key polyps during these colonoscopy procedures and impact patient care.
Is Scout indicated for someone having their first colonoscopy, or is it for someone who's on their second or maybe even third colonoscopy? Is this something that could be used in place of the traditional colonoscopy equipment?
Yes, so Scout is a complement to the existing traditional endoscopy equipment, and it can be used for both your first or your subsequent colonoscopy procedures.
So tell me a little bit more about the company.
Yeah, what I'm really excited about in terms of Iterative Scopes is our ability to bring technology to a space that has not been benefited by as much recently, and the ability to use that to democratize care. We think about the complexity of interpreting different features. AI has been meaningful in interpreting a variety of features across the technology space, but in the healthcare space specifically, you think about the endoscopic tissue that GIs are being presented with, and it is very complex. We are not only focused on helping providers detect these polyps in the colonoscopy procedures for colorectal cancer screenings, but we've also moved into the inflammatory bowel disease space, which is a much more nuanced space where there's features such as erosions, ulcerations, erythema, friability, vascularity, and then an assessment of surface area impacted by these features that all contribute to the assessment of disease severity, and then what kinds of methodologies are being prescribed to patients to treat their disease. And for us, being able to bring more precise and consistent interpretation of the endoscopic tissue is something which we're very passionate about.
When it comes to AI used in Scout, as far as misdiagnoses is concerned, does it basically eliminate that possibility or drastically reduce the possibility since it is so operator driven?
We can't make claims to eliminate that possibility, but what we are excited by is the data that demonstrated that even within high performers, meaning providers who have very high adenoma detection rates, that we were able to increase the number of adenomas they were detecting per colonoscopy. And ultimately, that's been shown to contribute to reducing interval cancer rates in patients.
Do you find that each and every patient is a great candidate for Scout?
That's a really great question. We're really excited to have Scout be brought to market and be able to perform a longer assessment of outcomes that we are actually able to contribute to and drive in patients. We currently know that in the patient population that was being evaluated during our clinical trial, that it was representative of a wide number of people, 1,400 patients. We know that there were a wide variety of providers participating in that study, so we know that it can be used and many providers can use it and benefit from it. But in terms of the ultimate long-term outcomes, that's what we're really excited to explore as it's brought to market.
What type of feedback do you get from patients who've had a colonoscopy in the traditional way, but they've undergone Scout? Do they have better results? Are they less likely to delay any further treatment?
Really great question. We are really interested in seeing what the patient impact is going to be, again, as we bring to market, in terms of, do patients respond differently to hearing that the polyps were detected through AI? What we do know from our clinical trial is that there was high receptivity to the idea of having AI used in a patient's procedure. The key indicator for that was that we had very high acceptance rates when people were invited to participate in the study. So we're seeing that the general population and specifically the GI patient population is keen about AI, is not appear to be intimidated by the concept of having AI made available to their providers. And ultimately, I think that we will see an enthusiasm as patients see their providers adopting technology that is intended to improve the outcomes of their care.
Is there anything that you'd like to add for our listeners? And then give us a website where we can learn much more about Iterative Scopes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the piece to drive home is that we know that GI practitioners have seen fewer advancements from precision medicine technologies compared to other serious illnesses, such as within the oncology space. And we know that current endoscopic procedures can be fairly subjective, leading to wide variations in interpretations and treatment decisions. And we're passionate about bringing tools that will help to improve that. We ultimately are focused on not only polyp detection, but also inflammatory bowel disease, and are exploring how we can use AI technology to reduce documentation burden and improve consistency and documentation quality. To learn more, you can go to iterativescopes.com. And we're excited to be able to evaluate what we can do next.
And that is Iterative Scopes.com. All one word, correct?
Perfect, yes.
Sloane, I appreciate you lending us some of your time. Thank you so much for joining us here on Health Professional Radio.
Thank you for having me. Have a great one.
You as well. You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Sloane Phillips. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download it, SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Health Professional Radio.